into some games, shall we? So we've got a, it's kind of rare in Runeterra that your headlining things that your deck is doing is not your champions, but we've got a deck here called Dragon's Might, and while it is playing 6 champions, obviously, the headlining card here that this deck is trying to do is Horns of the Dragon. 4/6 for 6 double attack, so hits when attacking during quick and normal damage. And we're trying to pair this Horns of the Dragon with the card Might. Give an ally 3 attack and overwhelm. So kind of like a build our own Lee Sin double hitter. Not quite the same because it doesn't obviously Dragon's Rage the thing out of the way, but we've also got Kato the Arm here that can give Horns of the Dragon overwhelm. Really good curve, can play Kato on 5 into Horns of the Dragon on 6 and punch right away if you're attacking on evens. We've also got some other just various aggressive cards like Inspiring Mentor, Precious Pet, Trifarian Glory Seeker to both apply pressure as well as control the board a little bit. Young Witch, pretty sweet with our various challenger units and other things. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this one and see how it goes. The deck was doing well for me before the lead buff, but it's a similar idea but slower now with lead. Yeah, I could see that. The one upside is like we technically don't have to have like constant enablers. You just need to have the Might or the Kato. But yeah, I could see it being a similar idea. I mean, so the thing like with this administration is it's hard to know like, is Trump having COVID real? Is it a ploy to get out of debates? Is it a ploy to say I got it, it wasn't a big deal, and then he can continue to downplay COVID in general? Like, there's a lot of uncertainty there, basically. Hey, Time Lord, thank you for the 29 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I'm not making any long-term commitments to what I am or am not doing with Magic stuff. We'll make an extra. We're gonna take this month off. We'll make more of a decision at the end of next month, or the end of the month. Who are we making bigger here? Just gonna make the.
Give me a sweet bun. Heightens the senses.
Was card's a 2/1 This card seems pretty reasonable. Just like okay stat line. I think I'm gonna hold on to the Glory Seeker for now. You might. Let's just smash.
Just a moment.
They're not a Bilgewater deck, so don't have to worry about Make It Rain. Changed to 2/1 last patch, was a 1/2. Okay, got it. I was like, I feel like I would have noticed this card before had I seen that stat line. That makes sense. It's definitely much better as a 2/1 than a 1/2. Alright. Obviously don't want to trade my 5/1 for their 1/1. Willing to trade my 2/1 for their 1/1. Morning, Logan.
Oh, you're interesting.
You're interesting.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren. Witness glory.
These can block, so. Kind of awkward that I don't have anything to do with my mana this turn. I think I'm just holding this back for now. Waiting to see if we can get something better to hook with it. I feel like it's not unreasonable to just might this. This might is basically worth 7 points of damage, so it seems reasonable. Rude. What was my take on Renowned Explorers? It was cute. The turn, it was It was the fact that it had a kind of multifaceted combat system was a unique take on that style of game. Like, usually that style of game, you're only, like, punching your way through all of the encounters, and the fact that you could, like, talk your way through in multiple different ways in addition to fighting made the gameplay a little bit more dynamic.
What time is it?
Kato clock! I think we're just, like, Kato into Kato here and then gearing up to punch him next turn, right?
That led me here.
Read. For Kato.
Who gets tossed?
Everyone! Who are we giving Overwhelm to? Probably the 5-1.
Extend your senses. The dragon himself.
Go time!
You're mine.
I give you mustard!
Your attack is obvious.
I assume we're gonna see 2 spells happen here, so this way he gets a barrier.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Yeah, feels like we're kind of dead here. I suppose we could peel the double attacker and like have some pump to go along with it, but it's just so difficult for unit-based decks to deal with these Lee Sin decks. You have to have a pretty specific subset of cards to interact profitably with him. Morning cans, right? Okay. Okay. That's spell 5 of 8. So they have to get this to 8 attack and level it up to kill me. Key Guardian here and Soft Pass. They're attempting to end the round. Alright, so I have 7 mana. Next turn I'm gonna have 8 mana. Plus 3 is 11. So that means I can play this and all of these, right? So I can go ahead and play this.
Requires a sharp blade.
Not really, Bitterblade. Not really.
Conflict is all in the mind. Center your spirit.
Speaking of Baldur's Gate, assuming it doesn't get delayed again, Baldur's Gate is supposed to come out. Baldur's Gate 3 is supposed to go into early access on Tuesday. Looking forward to playing a little bit of that on stream. Now, my opponents, Targon and Ionia, so like they have a lot of cards here that could blow us out, right? Like Hush blows us out. They have the Concussive Palm that blows us out. Steel Tempest doesn't usually see play, so it's probably just Hush and Concussive Palm, but if they don't have it, we could have lethal here.
Act free of doubt. Conflict.
Yeah, it was supposed to be out 2 days ago,
I'll see this through.
but yeah, this is, like I said, this is super
The
dead.
dragon wins.
what a fitting image for the current patch, just like defeat with Lee Sin's leveled up card overlaid in it. It's a fitting purview. Sejani Kalista. Not really an established archetype. There were some bigger versions of They Who Endure that were playing Sejani in the main, so it could be They Who Endure aggressive deck. None of these cards seem particularly exciting if that's what they're doing. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Young Witch along with Trifarian Glory Seeker here is very, very good 1-2 punch because she gives quick attack on her support, so she can let this kill multiple things, which is great. She's also elusive, so she generally speaking doesn't die in combat.
Carrots can fly, Rib. Okay.
Yeah, I agree, worst neighbor. I think the lead decks were good before, and they got much better with the Bastion upgrade. I also, that being said, so far my experience with Bastion is, I don't know that I really hate the Bastion upgrade.
Face me.
I feel like if there's a problem with Bastion, I'd kind of like it to keep the text it has now, but just cost 4 mana. And I think if the text it has now is too good, it only feels too good with Lee Sin.
We shall not rest until all betrayers.
Yeah, Lee Sin should not just be able to combo kill you from anything. Is what should change. If anything.
The fate of mortals and spirits falls to me.
Huh? Think we want to just Kato here?
Who gets tossed?
Everyone! Good morning, Toast Smasher. That's a 7/7. Huh. So...
This way. Oh, you're mine.
is this crazy? That levels Kalista?
Punch it! Ha-ha!
Face me.
Yeah, I think I gotta do this and kill Kalista. Although I guess I could put this in front and then she doesn't die. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, this could go either way. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to... yeah, and obviously my timer ran down there. It's like I ran out of time to think, but perhaps I should have put my other 2 supports after this, so this way they couldn't level their Kalista. Because remember, when one of your champions levels, they all level. So if they have another Kalista, that one comes in leveled now is the trouble.
You own what you take.
Hey, sounds good, Pokemon Nerd. We're actually going to play some Hades this evening for the variety segment. So that is definitely going to be a thing that happens. This game doesn't have enough nun abuse for me. Alright, let's Kato. I guess, do I Kato or do I... I'll start with Zed and see what happens. So they're obviously doing that. You think I need to trade here? Hey, morning Toast Smasher. I appreciate it.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Little unfortunate here that I can't,
Everyone's a garden.
Go time!
So I think we're just doing this. Obviously, this is not going to level up.
I give you
Might get close, though. Don't want to attack this in and trade it with either of these, I don't think. I think I'm going to go ahead and overwhelm this. This puts them to 8. Just have, I was gonna say, I was like, are they playing actual factual casket their deck? It was the last breath card that generated that. It's like that makes a lot more sense. Whew, these Key Guardians not having a unit in my hand for these Key Guardians is a real beating.
Stand and fight.
They grow up so fast.
I think I need to double pump here to kill this, right?
I would not want to be you.
I don't think I can have them keep a leveled Sajani in play.
Nice to punch you.
So, really hoping we draw a unit we can cycle these Key Guardians on next turn. If I don't have a ally in my hand to grant a barrier to, I can't play it and draw a card. Okay. Alright.
The dragon speaks through me.
Do I have lethal? If they have nothing, I have lethal, right? They have 3 cards though, so unlikely they have nothing, but this is the line. We get to shoot this here, and then my 5/1 gets to challenge this, and then we hit them for 8 here. We could have Key Guardianed Kato last turn to still have him alive this turn. Is that true? That would have been 2 turns ago, right? I'm not remembering the exact turn sequencing. You might be right. Yeah. Didn't matter. I guess maybe it does matter. If I have Kato there, I can hook the 15/15, and then my double attacker has 14. Yeah, I think you're right. I should have just been more aggressive with the Key Guardians in general, just to cantrip them, because I didn't have anything else to do. I mean, the reasoning is what you said there, Tawa. I overwhelmed the Zed to try and prioritize leveling him up. My opponent did not have they had already played a Sajani, so like it forced them to have another piece of removal. I think we're supposed to keep a 6-drop in the opener. Ash Sedge here. Mid-range aggressive deck usually. I'm gonna keep Glory Seeker and Shen. We're attacking on odds. It's actually kind of bad for this hand, although that's a good pickup for attacking on odds. If it's attacking on odds isn't terrible. I get to go Young Witch into Glory Seeker potentially. Although worth noting that they are an Ash deck full of Frostbites, so that's pretty good.
I am the blade in the darkness.
Am I willing to lose this to Brittle Steel? I don't think I am.
Faster than my arrow? I think not. Swiftly now.
We just do this.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
So Shen is ideal against Frostbite, but is it? I'm gonna lose him inside of combat if they Frostbite me, but then they're not Frostbiting this. I guess they're on 6 mana, so this could be a Harshwind's turn. Shen at least doesn't get Brittle Steeled, which is nice. Brittle Steel only hits things with 3 health or less. At least she hangs out and insulates from this Frostbite.
This way! Go!
We'll see if they can have another Ash in their hand. Ash's champion spell is Flash Freeze, so if they have that, they can block here. Okay, so no blocks there I feel like implies they don't have Flash Freeze. They could definitely still have Brittle Steel, though. Ravenous Block and Sentry are interesting cards. I guess this really isn't an established archetype anymore. It was like one of the better decks in the format for a split second, but it's kind of fallen off the map.
As the arrow flies! You're mine.
I think I'm just letting this happen.
As it had to be.
I could stand United, but I think I'd rather deploy these two this turn.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Yeah, I mean, like, as is exemplified here, the opponent's archetype seems reasonably competitive. It's got a good proactive game plan, and I think Flash Freeze specifically is very good right now, with Lee Sin being popular.
What time is it?
Face me!
Up top! This is our homeland!
Hey, good morning, Pengu Power. Thank you for the 54 months of support. It's a really long time. Thanks for keeping me around. That's a rough one. Can at least kill their Ash here, hopefully.
The Kinku.
I think we're dead here. Our things notably don't block. They have a lot of power in play. They have to just eat our 5/4 again here.
I'll lead us to victory!
Yeah, I can Noxie and Fervor this one, but we're just gonna take 8 and die. Hey, good morning, Propaganda. You only sing during Magic? Nah, there's singable moments in every game. Yeah, we have a couple of people that just rolled past 60-month subs. I think Tumos is 61 months at this point. Good morning, girls. Hello. Good morning, Declan. How are you doing this morning, baby girl? Nocturne Elise, so probably something aggressive. They're Demacia as well. Mulligan, the Elixir, and keep... Look at the other one drop too. We'll keep Mentor and Young Witch.
Sure. Come on, Haley. Your brother wants to play with you.
You'll soon understand my methods. T for 2.
Must be between classes. Jacob's usually pretty good. It's when Declan's quiet and alone that you generally need to worry.
Off we go!
Slow down. Maybe some kind of just fearsome aggro in general. What if they're just like playing Nocturne as a fearsome threat as opposed to really leaning into the Nightfall part of it? Could see that being reasonable. Yeah, I really enjoy the... As someone who's not huge on Limited and Magic, I actually really enjoy the Limited in Runeterra. The fact that the cards on... The fact that there's not just a bunch of Limited chaff in this game means that the power level of the Limited games you play tends to be a little bit higher on average than what you experience in Magic, which is really enjoyable. I like that it's not just a bunch of people bumping bad cards into each other. Pretty sure I'm just spending my mana and saving my threat here. She is finally starting to get some hair, thankfully for her. Nah, Christy loves working from home, isn't it? Our deck doesn't play defense particularly well, chat. Our deck does not play defense well. So this is 9, 13, 14.
This isn't part of the training.
I guess I'm doing this and like blocking here, but like we're super far behind. So far playing against other aggressive decks has not felt particularly close. We like get behind and we have a bunch of these cards that just like pump our stuff on offense or just completely useless on defense. Yeah, it definitely isn't tough. In non-plague times, Haley would be in daycare right now. So it is nice that she gets to be home with us. You know, the small silver lining to the circumstances we're currently experiencing. Our deck's defense is offense. Yeah, I guess. We're dead though, right? Pretty sure we're dead. This first one might be a quick one. And we'll pivot to the next. Doing a little bit longer stream today. We're going to play a couple of Runeterra decks and then doing a sponsored segment for a deck builder called Haxity that's available on Steam. I played a little bit of it. It felt pretty reasonable. Yeah, we're just dead, right? Like I can pump the attack on these to block these and then I just take 8 and die. Or take 7 and die. Having a lot of cards that fill one very specific role in our deck and only provide offense means that our deck just doesn't have a plan when we get behind in these games. I feel like these last two have really shown. Especially considering the fact that, like, our 5-1 and the 5-4, neither of them can block. In addition to our pump spells not playing well on defense, our units also don't play defense well either. Yeah, the art styling is similar to Grifflands for sure. Zed Lee Sin. I'm gonna keep the Key Guardian with the Glory Seeker here. Is it a good idea to play this match after the last two? Well, I mean, this is most of the ladder, right? So, like, I don't really plan to just concede a bunch of matches. If the deck's not competitive against things people are playing, we'll just play something else. With a big part of what I do here being playing random viewer submissions and things, the range on stuff we're going to play is wide, and frequently things that we try and play are not going to be competitive. Okay, but I can't play right now because I'm working. We can play together after school's done today, okay? Let's Key Guardian the Spider here, and then this can kind of fog their Zed, hopefully. I feel like a Zintoth that babies specifically probably aren't going to really have a hard time adjusting that are like, you know, babies during this year. I feel like it's going to be like slightly older kids, like probably slightly into the range where mine are, but probably a little bit older too, especially like 7, 8, 9, 10, like in that range. Where that, having that different setting than they're used to, traditionally speaking, could really be detrimental. Yeah, middle schoolers especially. I feel like high school kids might even be into the age where, like, adjusting to doing digital stuff might not be as bad, but I feel like it's probably tougher for the middle school age group. Of course, that's also speculation. I'm not a professional. What's up, dude? Oh. All those packs have to stay in the frame, bud. Because that's where they belong. Missed 2 damage on Zed. Well, if I would have blocked the Zed has Overwhelm. So if I would have blocked the Zed with my barrier unit, it would have hit me for 3, and they would have a leveled Zed. So I took the play that I took there to avoid allowing them to level their Zed. Which is seeming like it's not going to matter. Feeling pretty dead here. Again, just like kind of got a little bit behind on board, and now our opponent is just like running us down. I don't really have any way to play from behind between quick attack units and units that can't block and pump spells that only give attack. I just like this deck just doesn't play defense at all. Oh, we're just letting me level my Zed. Okay. They finally like combo kill my next turn? I mean, spending more time with family and specifically their mother is very good for young babies. That's why actual first world countries give people a lot more maternity leave than the basically none we have here in the United States. We're just doing this and going to 8. What's up, dude? Okay. So there's that is also leveled. That being said, next turn, like, when Zed's leveled, he gives keywords too. So I'm gonna get to deploy a bunch of stuff here, and then next turn I'm gonna get to might this and attack, and we might actually steal this one. Yeah, might on Zed might actually just kill them. So let's just do this, and then we'll open attacks here. And I'll hook this down here. Yes, Jacob. Okay, buddy. I promise we'll play some cards after school today like I promised you, okay? I need you to go upstairs while I'm working though, okay?
None escape their shadow.
Hey, thanks, Kenix. I appreciate you being here. I feel... So, like, if our opponent had been a little bit less scared, I feel like we would have lost that game. Like, they let us level our Zed, and we definitely won that game because we leveled that Zed, right? That's good to hear, isn't it? Yeah, I agree, deceased. It's also important to know, like, you know, there's all these people that are complaining about, like, Magic and the things Wizards does, and they're unhappy with decisions Wizards is making and the way their formats are balanced, but they just keep shoveling dollar bills into Arena and shoveling their time into Magic and Arena, right? So, like, if you keep telling Wizards that you're unhappy with their products, but you keep giving them lots of money and time, they don't care that you're unhappy. Like, you're giving them what they want. They who endure here, almost assuredly. King already doesn't actually seem that good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep these two. One drop on one is nice. We have Young Witch on 2 into Glory Seeker. Hook something on 3, hopefully. I'm just trading these off. It's gonna turn into a 3-3 at some point, so might as well trade my 2-1 for it now.
We made it, Brim! I wanna go home!
So let's go ahead and start pressuring them with Zed, actually. They don't have any units in play to challenge anyways.
This way!
The newly summoned attacker gets support when it's on the rightmost spot. I don't actually know. It's a good question. I feel like it should, right? Because this triggers when it attacks, and the things happen left to right.
Really?
Yeah, Kenix, it's just like people looking to dogpile, right? Like, if you even look at that person who, like, obviously had some kind of grudge or whatever and was annoyed with me, like, they dug up all these things that were supposedly me being terrible, and, like, the most recent one they found was, like, from February 2019, and we're now in October of 2020, and it's like, well, if you feel like you need to dredge up stuff that really wasn't even that bad from February of 2019, like, maybe you could acknowledge the fact that I'm probably not the same person I was then.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
I've not done Fall Guys JMP. I'm not huge into competitive APM based games.
The blade in the darkness.
Don't really want to trade this for any other 1/1s. We're gonna hang on to it so it can challenge something bigger later, perhaps.
I want to go home.
Yeah, it is what it is, Kenix. They're never gonna change. Twitter's never gonna change. Wizard's never gonna change. Like I said, I'm gonna take October and I'm going to take October and see where my content ends up without magic, and maybe we go back, maybe we don't. I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, if it looks like I can still do content as a job without magic after October, I probably won't go back to doing more magic. But we'll see. I enjoy streaming on Twitch as a job, and if having to do some amount of magic is a requirement to do that, we'll probably do more. I'm taking at least a month off from it, though. So, generally speaking, Socio Penguin, I look for the cost of the game plus a donation, but someone actually already donated for Hades, and we're going to play it tonight. So, if that goes well, it's just like a deck submission to re-add it. I'm not sure, I'm not taking resubmissions of a game until I've played it. Alright, Kato's pretty great here, so Kato can give this Overwhelm. Are we gonna finally get to give our double attack or Overwhelm? That would be great. I actually didn't take a full month off in July, so, and that's part of the reason why I want to just take a full month off now, is I said I was gonna take off till rotation, and then they, like, theoretically fixed their ban list, but there's still plenty of problems with things. So, yeah. Feel like taking a full 30 days off will be good. I'll put out a sub poll towards the end to see how people feel, if people expect Magic content back based on who's still supporting me. We'll see, you know? Maybe this is sustainable, maybe it's not. That's not strictly true, Vayne. Vayne, like, if you look back on Talarian's channel, like, he has how to play videos for lots of different card games. He has a how to play video for Pokemon, which I actually think his how to play video for Pokemon is the most popular, his most popular video on his channel. And he's, like, made how to play videos for Keyforge, like... that's a satire account, Terranter. PTCGO actually has an in-client qualifier going right now. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I suppose they probably need to adapt too, huh? I actually really liked Pokemon as a card game. And the reason why I stopped playing it was because of the rampant cheating in their paper tournaments. If Pokemon TCGO had some presence on Twitch, I wouldn't mind playing some of that. It also like Pokemon TCGO has like less presence on Twitch than like Runeterra does even. Very, very small to non-existent.
I need just a moment.
The card acquisition system in the digital Pokemon game sucked though. It was real bad. Yeah, the economy is worse than Magic Online is definitely the case. It's real bad. Would you like me to flip your submission till Monday, Starfraggle? I wouldn't mind if you wanted me to play a different deck and leave it in there for you. I'd be okay with that. It's up to you. It'll be up on YouTube, of course, afterwards, as always. So this is Freljord Shadow Isle still, but not the They Who Endure deck. Something controlling here. Hey, Mr. 3000 the movie. Glad you're enjoying the Runeterra stuff. Thanks for the 22 months. Welcome back. Yeah, actually had a donation come through to bump something else in the queue up, so yeah, that's fine. We'll do some Fiora Tarek after this. Found the game a snowbally RNG fest. How were you playing with your kids, Innuendo? Because, like Magic, Pokemon TCG has a really deep card pool, and there's lots of game modes, so, like, playing competitive Pokemon TCG decks against other competitive decks is a very different experience than playing, more casually or untuned decks against each other. I think I don't play the Spider here, because if I bank up my third spell mana, I can play Horns plus Might next turn. Which seems good.
The dragon speaks through me.
Off-the-shelf precons are a Parent Trap. They're really bad. Yeah, I'd believe that. The old Game Boy games. Gosh, I spent so much time playing the Pokemon TCG Game Boy game as a child. Spent so much time. Hey, Dude Light, thanks for the tip. So this is 8, 13, 16. I'm gonna attack and see what they do. I don't think I want to do this proactively. You get Vengeance here and be sad. Thanks, Dude Light. I think I'm not convinced that Lee Sin is too strong from a power level perspective, Grey Guardian, but I am pretty convinced that the play patterns Lee creates as a card aren't particularly healthy, and they're play patterns that I would be surprised if remain competitive in Runeterra. Lee Sin, I don't know if you're one of my folks that play Magic or have played Magic before, but the Lee Sin deck as it exists in Runeterra right now feels a lot like a Magic deck to me in a bad way, in that it feels like something powerful, linear, and obnoxious that is very difficult to interact with. And generally speaking, I think one of the things Runeterra does better than Magic and other games is your answers tend to be flexible. And I feel like the way Lee is currently built breaks that mold. I'm not super surprised that nothing happened to Lee in the most recent patch. I feel like they really have to push to change something like that quickly in a cycle. I also was chatting with one of the Runeterra, one of the a Riot staff person, and they said internally the win rate of the Lee decks actually wasn't that impressive. If I recall correctly, they said the win rate of the Lee deck was like one of the lower win rates in Masters. Obviously, that's before this recent Bastion buff they were referring to, but that still feels like a relevant data point. You were spoiled by the quick Hush change. Well, the Hush change was more than 2 weeks, right? So, like, changing Lee Sin already would have been a change after just 2 weeks, whereas the Hush change happened much longer, right? So they could be an Icequake or a Ruination deck. So I think I want to just open on attacks here. Bastion now grants Spell Shield and +1/+1. Yeah, and like, obviously, Buladac, like, the Lee Sin gets better with the Bastion change. It's definitely something that's true. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I agree, Innuendo. I think it's kind of unhealthy where Lee Sin's at the moment.
Invisible to the ignorant.
That is actually incredibly good. Okay, Jacob Jeffrey, I love you, buddy, but I need you to get out of my office, okay? Danny's working right now, and I need you to not go through all of my stuff, okay? I need you to go upstairs. You're gonna have a class again soon, so I need you to go upstairs with mommy and hang out, okay? I love you, buddy. You can keep this extra shiny one if you want, though. That one can be for you. Okay, yep, you can keep it right there, too. The fact that their Unspeakable Horror generated an elusive is a rough beat. We were hoping to kind of sneak through with these young witches, I think. That's not going to be an option anymore.
Where'd she go?
Also, like, I know most of the people here appreciate me and know that that person on Twitter was scum, but like, the easiest way to know that the petty person that said a bunch of awful things on Twitter about me is an awful person was because my children have curly hair, there are a bunch of people that don't understand genetics that like to imply that my children are not my own and my wife was unfaithful to me. Because petty people who are upset that people have ignored them on Twitter or been mean to them in Twitch chat think they need to make things personal like that. The Magic community is just god-awful. It's so bad.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Multiple WotC staff members liked the tweet from the person that posted that. Not the one explicitly about my children, but the thread that they made that was basically a petty hit job. I think we're dead here, right? We're just like not beating this Ledros. So this thing bounces back to their hand every time it hits, and it hits us for half every time it comes down. Yeah, I think we're... Trundle's gonna level up and overwhelm here as well. Take one draw step here, but... The trolls were definitely going to war against us, chat. Definitely going to war. That's kind of funny. I forget Dualcaster Mage can copy their stuff too. It's cute templating. Hey, thanks for the interior support, Vorpal. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. So, Elise here with Noxious. Definitely the Spider Burn deck. This is probably going to be another match where the fact that we don't play defense well at all is going to be a big deal. It's another card that can't block, too. Jeff had hair? I did. In a time before children, I had hair. Sometimes it feels like a far off time.
Come closer.
Yeah, and again, just like, okay, here's my unit that can't block.
From the darkness.
Yeah, like their Elise is leveling here too.
I walk the space between worlds.
Nah, I don't think so. I think this deck's just bad. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one.
I did all I could.
Yeah, so I feel like the assessment at the start that, like, this is kind of just a worse version of what the Lee Sin deck is doing is definitely accurate. I also think that kind of that awkward clunkiness that we talked about, where this deck can't assume different roles based on different draws, is really, really bad. So, we have Elixir of Wrath and Might and Key Guardian and, you know, Trifarian Glory Seeker and Reckless Trifarian, and these cards, they're just not modal. So, like, when we're kind of on the back foot, they don't do anything. They sit there and rot in our hand. They can, like, kind of help us trade up into bigger things, but then we're trading 2 for 1 into their bigger things, and then we run out of cards. So, overall, this one definitely felt like quite a bit of a miss. This card's just really expensive. We got to, like, kind of do the thing once or twice, but the fact that Lee Sin is popular also means that Hush and Frostbite are more popular as well, which really hammers down our combo. So, like, when we're trying to, like, jump through hoops to set up this combo and the ultimate payoff is lower than, like, what Lee Sin's doing, it's just not good enough on average. Both Bastion and Hush had immediate changes announced. So, like, here's an important thing about Runeterra that I think is an important distinction from how Magic handles things is I don't really know that it's super fair to call like what we're currently experiencing in Runeterra truly a lame duck format, because while the exact power levels of things will become slightly different, well, the exact power levels of things will become slightly different. Runeterra doesn't just like ban archetypes or cards, right? So like while Bastion's going to become like a 4-cost thing at some point, like most likely I would imagine, like those decks just become marginally worse and lose a little bit of efficiency. You can still play against them and get a feel for what your matchups look like. And yeah, did they announce more Hush changes? Because I didn't hear that. Do you have a source on that? Yeah, they already I would say they balance patched Hush in the last patch if you missed that. So fleeting Hushes cost 1 more, which I think is a reasonable change. They said they might do more. Oh, weird. Yeah, that's interesting. God, Lee Sin has to have a change if you can't interact with it with this, right? This is like one of the few cards in the game, especially with Spell Shield, that like really lets you hammer home Lee Sin. I don't know. The community's been really upset with this card in general. I think it's pretty fine. Whatever. We decided to ready another change for 1-2 as well. We'll remove Hush's repeated ability aspect entirely and reduce its cost. This should focus Hush on its core intended function and generally reduce frustration. We're also incorporating our learnings. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. In a lot of situations, this is just gonna make Hush better. Like there's plenty of situations where like you Hush something and you don't do it again. And I guess like the threat of doing it again dictates some play patterns in some situations. But I don't know. I don't really think this card's that much of a problem. In general, I think having reasonable interaction is pretty good. I also don't think it's like a huge loss if they change it. Yeah, like, and something that's really interesting that I thought was really good from a game design perspective is that when they talked about gems, one really interesting thing where they talked about gems was, this has this awkward kind of line here where it says, can't be cast in combat or in response to a spell. And the reason why these gems have this line here is because they said in playtesting, when the gems didn't have this line, the threat of having the gems in your hand tended to be better than actually playing them out in most situations. And I could see, even though Hush's fleeting card, there's a lot of situations where it doesn't come up, just like the threat of it looming overhead adjust gameplay patterns. I could see that being something you don't want to deal with or interact with or like have be something in your game. And again, that's one of the things I like about the way Runeterra tends to balance things is I can look at a card like Hush and go, from a power level perspective, this seems fine, but from a how this experiences how it feels is something that they care about too, and that's important too. You shouldn't just make gameplay balance decisions based on arbitrary metrics, right? Like how the game feels and is fun to play should also be important. I mean, it's impossible. Yeah, I know they're different regions, so like it's fine for cards in different regions to have similar effects. Also, Purify is a permanent silence, right? So like that's also not true. Yeah, so like even if Hush goes to 2 mana, Hush being till end of turn but hitting champions still makes it different than Purify in a meaningful way, which I think is good, right? Like they're similar effects, but they're different. It's a good differentiation, I think. This is permanent but can't take champions, exactly. All right, at any rate, we're going to do a second Runeterra deck this morning. My plans, for people that didn't see my plans for October, is I'm going to do 2 Runeterra decks every single morning, Monday through Friday. We are going to play some Taric Fiora. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll. I get everything set up and flipped over to the bat. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.